So hello, today we're going to do an unboxing of Aeon's End War Eternal. Now Aeon's End War Eternal is a standalone game. It's not an expansion to Aeon's End, but it integrates with Aeon's End and Aeon's End Legacy. So today's Sunday, so this was in the post yesterday on Saturday. So let's take a look. It's a cooperative deck building game where your deck is never shuffled. This is one of the things that I will have to remember, because you inadvertently, if you've ever played any sort of card game, you usually shuffle your discard pile before you integrate it into your hand again. As you can see, there are a couple of things in here. They have a counter for life and for life of Gravehold. So Gravehold is the city, I guess, that you're trying to defend. And then you've got the life counter for the nemesis. So the nemesis are the enemies that you're fighting. Now, it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic fantasy game in that you play a mage, breach mages they are called, and you use spells to fight against the enemies. And you have a main nemesis that you're fighting against. So it's a lot like, it does remind me a little bit of Call of Cthulhu, you know, Arkham Horror or Eldritch Horror, where you have like the big bad, the great old one. And then you bring in minions using the cards that are basically in the threat deck. Okay, so here we've got the rulebook and information on how to set up the game. So this is the mages we get. We get 4 mages. We get Gex, Mother Hydron, Mist, and Quilius. So and they all come with playmats where their special information is displayed. So how many breaches do they have? Which ones are open? To what degree? What is their special ability? How many charges per ability? Then we've got the counters. So these are charges. Yeah, well, you know. Oh, it's already assembled, is it? No, it's not. Oh, it's actually fallen apart, has it? Yeah, it has, but that's fine. No problem there. I wasn't even expecting it to be assembled, because when you look at the one that you get with Lord of the Rings, it's not assembled. So this is the deck, the life counter, and then you've got another life counter for the nemesis. You've got dividers, which of course you need in order for the insert to work, because you want to keep your cards separate, so that you can do the deck building really quickly. Okay, no, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's really good. You've got 8 heroes, so 8 breach mages. I don't like the insert. You can't keep it in there. It's going to fall apart. And then the nemesis. We've got the Umbra Titan, Hollow Crown, the Gate Witch, and as you can see, they all have information about how they play. So that's a lot like the information you would get for the great old ones in Eldritch Horror, for example. And you have different levels of difficulty, easy and more difficult. This is the life points that this one has. This one is 35 only. This one has only 1, so there's something weird going on there. Yeah, I'm not happy about the insert, because you can't store your cards. This is way too flimsy. And here we've got the breaches themselves. And then you've got the cards and the different type of decks. And it says here, first open the deck that has the card marked with a stop A sign. This deck contains the 9 sets of cards you will use as the market for your first game. Yeah, so this is what we will be doing. So I guess this is it. I suppose it's the big one. No, it isn't actually. This is stop A. Do not shuffle this deck. Refer to the first game setup included to set up and play your first game with War Eternal. So this is what we will be doing, but I'm not going to continue with the unboxing. With regard to the counters, the counter sheet is quite thick, and it is functional, I guess, although the counters are pretty ugly, but you know, you can always replace those with something else that you like better. So that's Aeon's End War Eternal. The actual rule book gives you an overview over the components: 86 gem cards, 88 spell cards, 30 relic cards, 27 randomizer cards. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the idea of randomizer cards, you have in this game, like in many other deck builders, like for example Thunderstone Advance, a market offering of different types of game game components, of game cards: gems, which are essentially the currency, relics, and spells. And you can either choose those deliberately and say, okay, so I want to have these gems, I want to have these spells, I want to have these relics. And that's going to be part of your strategy. What kind of cards do I want to play? What kind of cards make sense for the mages that I'm playing? Or you could say, we're just going to randomize it, and then you just use those randomizer cards and you just shuffle them, and then you just keep drawing from this deck until you've got the setup that corresponds to your game that you want to play. It's also got something that I haven't seen like this before. It's got a turn order deck. So essentially for each round, you put in turn order cards for the nemesis and for your breach mages, and you shuffle them. So each round, you don't know who's going to go first, who's going to go second. So in that way, it's a little bit like Doom 2nd Edition, where you also have where you also shuffle in the player cards and the enemy cards, and then you draw who's going to go next. And I like that. It's a little bit like getting initiative done every single time. Then it's a component anatomy information, which looks very comprehensive and very clear. Nemesis mat is explained. Minion cards are explained. And then there is a power card. They usually have a power level. So it says power 2. So it's going to take two rounds, or two monster turns for this to actually take effect. And then you've got the attack, which usually takes effect immediately. It explains all about setup. And it gives you an example of play for a particular mage. So this would be Desmodia, and she has 4 breaches. One is fully opened, one is half opened, and one is 1/4 opened. And you basically have to turn them, and in order to turn them so that they get opened, you have to pay currency, and the currency is it's called I don't know what it's called, but you use gems to pay for it. And then guidelines for making the supplies. Essentially, what kind of market offering would you like? Turn order, gameplay. And I like without even being able to read it this quickly, I like how it's set, how it's laid out, how it's explained. I like the font. It's dark on a white background, so that's really helpful. And it says here, no deck shuffling. That's something that you have to remember, because the way in which, or the order in which you place your cards on the discard pile matters, because when the draw deck runs out, you just take your discard pile and you turn it over. And so you can make a decision as to how to order your cards so that you can see in which order they come out, because certain cards influence one another and you would like them to be in the same hand that you draw. So this is a quick unboxing of Aeon's End War Eternal by Kevin Riley, and it's indie boards and cards action phase games. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.